All right, let's talk about Austrian wine. And trust me, it's a story you're going to want to hear. We're talking about incredible highs, a totally devastating scandal, and honestly, one of the most amazing comebacks in the entire world of wine.
This quote, it just nails it. Austria makes only about 1% of all the wine in the world. I mean, that's tiny, but the quality, it might just be the highest out there. This is a country that is just obsessed with quality, and it shows. They make some of the most crisp, complex, and seriously refreshing wines you can find anywhere.
And that's the big question, right? How on earth did a country whose wine industry was completely rocked by scandal become a benchmark for quality? Because believe me, not that long ago, Austrian wine was a punchline. Its journey from, international disgrace to being the gold standard, it's just one of the most dramatic stories you'll find in wine.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at where Austria fits in the big picture of wine. Then we'll dive right into the scandal that changed absolutely everything. After that, we'll meet its signature grapes, check out the key regions, and I'll wrap it all up with a super simple guide to help you pick out a bottle.
So first up, let's get a handle on Austria's role. It's really an unsung hero. We're talking about a cool climate producer totally focused on quality over quantity. And that means you get wines with this amazing high acidity and really complex flavors. But to really get why they're so focused on quality, you have to understand the moment it all almost disappeared. This wasn't just some small change in direction. It was a full-on, forced renaissance, born out of a massive crisis.
So, the year is 1985. This is the turning point. A handful of producers got caught adding a chemical found in antifreeze, yeah, you heard that right, antifreeze, to their wines. They were trying to cheat the system, making cheap, thin wines seem sweeter and more full-bodied. The scandal was catastrophic. The industry just collapsed overnight. But out of those ashes, Austria created some of the strictest, most rigorous wine laws on the entire planet. That disaster literally became the catalyst for a total reinvention.
So, how did they pull it off? How do you enforce these brand new standards? Well, the master plan was something called the DACs system. And this wasn't just about a bunch of new rules. It was about rebuilding trust by focusing on authenticity. Think of it like this. If you see DAC on a label, it's a legal guarantee. It tells you the wine in that bottle is a classic, high-quality example from that specific place. It totally shifted the focus from what's in the bottle to where did it come from.
All right, let's shift gears and talk about the grape that became the absolute superstar of this new era, the one that really truly put Austria back on the map, Grüner Veltliner. And you really can't overstate how important this grape is. More than a third of all vineyards in Austria are planted with Grüner Veltliner. It is, without a doubt, the heart and soul of Austrian white wine.
So what does it taste like? Well, Grüner Veltliner has this signature character. When it's young, it's all about that zesty, high acidity. Think grapefruit, green apple, maybe some peach. But the real giveaway, the thing that screams Grüner, is this awesome, distinct note of white pepper. And if you let it age, it can develop these beautiful, complex honey and toast notes. Just fantastic.
But here's the cool part. The grape is incredibly versatile. It really has two main faces. You've got the classic style, which is light, fruity, and super fresh. It's made in stainless steel, meant for drinking right away. And then you have the reserve styles. These are much more full-bodied, more concentrated, a little higher in alcohol, and they're often complex enough to be aged in oak barrels for years. Two totally different experiences from the same grape.
But hey, it's not all about the whites. Austria also makes some absolutely stunning red wines. So let's meet the key players on the red side of things. The star of the red show is, without a doubt, Blaufränkisch. If Grüner Veltliner is the king of the whites, then Blaufränkisch is the most highly regarded red. It makes these wines with deep color, some good firm tannins, and that classic Austrian high acidity. Flavor-wise, you're getting sour cherry, blackberry, and a peppery spice that just pops.
There are a couple other important reds you should know. First is Zweigelt. It's actually the most planted red grape in the country, and it's known for its deep color and soft, juicy, brambly fruit flavors. Then you've got St. Laurent. People often compare this one to Pinot Noir because it's got these lovely cherry notes and can get really savory and complex as it gets older.
Okay, so we've met the grapes. Where do they all grow? Well, it really comes down to geography. Austrian wine is pretty much a tale of two major states, and each one has its own specialty. On one side, you have Niederösterreich, which just means Lower Austria.
This is the country's biggest wine region. It's cooled by the Danube River, and it is the undisputed kingdom of dry white wines, especially Grüner Veltliner and Riesling. Then, on the other side, you've got Burgenland. It's warmer over there, thanks to winds from the Pannonian Plains, and that makes it the heartland for Austria's best red wines, like Blaufränkisch, and also its world-class sweet wines.
And that brings us to Burgenland's secret weapon, Lake Neusiedl. It's this huge, shallow lake that creates these warm, humid mists in the fall. Now, that sounds weird, but it's the perfect condition for a special fungus called noble rot to grow on the grapes. This stuff shrivels them up, concentrates all their sugars, and is the key to creating these incredibly complex and delicious dessert wines.
Okay, so we've talked history, grapes, regions. What does this all mean for you when you're standing in a wine shop trying to pick a bottle? Let's make it easy.
Here is your go-to Austrian wine cheat sheet. Super simple. Number 1, if you want a crisp, zesty white, look for Grüner Veltliner, especially from Niederösterreich. 2, craving a complex, spicy red, you're going to ask for Blaufränkisch from Burgenland. 3, want that guarantee of quality? Just look for DAC on the label. And 4, if you want to explore those amazing sweet wines, find a bottle from near Lake Neusiedl. Easy, right?
So let's just quickly run through those key terms one more time. Grüner Veltliner is your star white. Blaufränkisch is your star red. DAC is your seal of quality. Niederösterreich is white wine country. And Burgenland is for reds and sweets. And hey, don't forget about Zweigelt and Riesling while you're at it.
Which brings us to one last thought. After this whole journey from being completely scandal-plagued to becoming one of the most quality-obsessed producers on Earth, you really have to wonder, with its unique grapes and these crazy high standards, is Austria now the world's most overlooked fine wine region? That's definitely something to think about over your next class.